Global financial systems are converging onto a single, integrated digital architecture. We are witnessing the synchronized onboarding of entire populations into a unified control network. A major blind spot exists in current financial tech policy. Analysts often assume that resistance to this network comes exclusively from the resistant remnant, individuals who refuse to adopt the technology from day one. Data suggests a different reality. While the flat line at the bottom represents the resistant remnant, this volatile curve up top tracks a group known as the Disenchanted Dissenters. They show a massive initial spike in adoption, followed by a steep drop into defection. These users were tech-savvy early enthusiasts. They initially welcomed the system, but their operational experience eventually led to a total identity reversal and an attempt to exit. Defection from a totalizing financial architecture emerges as a predictable, structural feature of the system itself. To understand the future of digital finance, we have to examine how its very design manufactures its own most capable defectors. This shift is driven by the ABCD system, an architecture composed of 4 specific technological pillars. Pillar A uses artificial intelligence in financial decisioning to automate credit, fraud, and eligibility checks. Pillar B implements mandatory biometric identification for onboarding and verification. Pillar C introduces a central bank digital currency with programmable money properties, while Pillar D provides an integrated digital control layer for real-time monitoring and sanctions enforcement. These 4 pillars converge into a single integrated financial control surface. At this point, identity, transactions, and eligibility are all jointly determined. This integration creates a paradox. During the design phase, early enthusiasts were attracted by promises of cryptographic privacy, high security, and modernization. In practice, integration requires these pillars to share a single data environment. When biometric identity in Pillar B is hard-coded into the programmable money of Pillar C, the system gains the capacity to monitor and gate individual economic participation in real time. Because the architecture is designed to capture every aspect of economic life, escaping it requires a calculated, multi-stage trajectory. The Disenchanted Dissenters' journey follows a 5-stage roll-exit trajectory. In Stage 1, enthusiastic embrace, users exhibit high loyalty. They actively advocate for the technology and tie their personal identity to the system's modernity. During this phase, users often dismiss warnings about systemic overreach, trusting the initial design promises. Stage 2 is latent friction. As operational issues emerge, the user experiences accumulating dissatisfaction, but employs motivated reasoning to rationalize those failures. Users can remain in this friction state indefinitely, held in place by their early advocacy. It takes a specific catalyst to break this cycle. Stage 3 is the tipping point event. This catalyst converts vague dissatisfaction into a recognized, undeniable pattern of systemic overreach. The type of tipping point defines the user's cohort. A privacy-triggered exit occurs when exposed biometric or transaction data forces a fast, technically driven extraction from the network. A service failure exit happens when a concrete event, like an account freeze or a denied transaction, forces the user to find alternative instruments. The political and identity exit occurs when the system is weaponized against a group the user identifies with, sparking a deep ideological commitment to leaving. The final and largest cohort follows the gradual fatigue exit. Here, persistent surveillance fatigue and cumulative annoyances eventually breach the user's tolerance threshold. Once this tipping point is crossed, the user's shift in worldview makes them a high-risk flight threat to the system operators. The ABCD system actively monitors and classifies users moving toward the exit trajectory. It monitors specific input signals, drops in transactional volume, shifts in counterparties, and selective opt-outs from optional biometric enrollments. Pillar A's artificial intelligence aggregates these anomalies to calculate a continuous, real-time defection risk score. This score represents a classification capability, triggering automated retention interventions based on real-time behavioral data. Defection manifests as a measurable behavioral anomaly, triggering automated interventions from the state machinery. As a user begins active reconsideration, the system deploys a 3-tiered retention apparatus: the smile, the bark, and the bite. The smile combines tailored messaging to soothe the user with the negative withdrawal of alternatives, like declining cash acceptance, to keep them within the formal network. The bark articulates consequences through demonstration cases. If that fails, the bite deploys hard account freezes, regulatory enforcement, and criminal proceedings. Users navigate the pressure of Stage 4 by constructing bridging arrangements underneath the system's radar, migrating assets to non-compliant stores, minimizing voluntarily disclosed data, and building networks with parallel communities. In Stage 5, defection and reincorporation, the user successfully severs operational ties and integrates into a parallel substrate, such as a cypherpunk or communitarian network. Successful exit is a grueling operational accomplishment. It must be prepared largely before the AI assigns a critical risk score. At the macro level, 5 structural determinants govern a defection attempt success. Top-down forces include the ABCD system design and its incentive and threat apparatus. Bottom-up counterforces are the defectors' resources and available parallel communities to absorb them. Operators respond by choosing to accommodate the leak, isolate defectors, or deploy raw coercion. While heavy-handed coercion might stop individual exits, it inevitably erodes the system's perceived legitimacy and destabilizes the equilibrium. Digital mandate regimes historically settle into a bifurcated steady-state equilibrium. 70 to 80% of the population stays content, while 2 to 5% become disenchanted dissenters. Accommodating this small parallel minority proves to be the most durable strategy for maintaining control over the mainstream majority. We see this in the 1933 U.S. gold confiscation. The mandate successfully captured the mainstream economy, while a small, resistant remnant emerged in parallel. Modern parallels include the 2015 Greek capital controls, which saw significant depositor adaptation despite strict exit constraints. The 2019 Lebanese banking collapse further demonstrates how parallel arrangements emerge when a centralized system fails its users. Total financial control remains a utopian myth. Disenchanted dissenters are a predictable, structural feature of these integrated systems, demonstrating that an architecture designed for total control inherently produces the friction that drives its own defectors to find an exit.